We begin at 5 o'clock, continuing that breaking NBA news out today. Michael Malone is out as Nuggets head coach. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Tom Green. The Nuggets suddenly made those announcements this morning. Both Malone and general manager Calvin Booth gone. Malone, of course, the winningest head coach in Nugget history. He passed Doug Moe back in November. And, of course, they also won it all 2 years ago, the only NBA championship in Nuggets history. But today, it's over. The assistant coach David Adelman takes over as the interim head coach. He'll handle the rest of the season, which is all of 3 games long and however long the playoffs last. This move caught everybody by surprise, especially given the timing.
9 News sports reporter Chris Tavares joins us now. And Chris, the playoffs just a week away right now, and the Nuggets just clean house.
Yeah, the Nuggets are battling for playoff positioning right now. Super important for them because they don't want to get stuck in the play-in tournament. The playoffs get started on April 19th, but the play-in tournament, that tips off a week from today, and there is no guarantee that Denver will avoid that. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now. That's their longest of the season, and they've gone 3-7 in the past 10 games. In a slump with just 3 games left in the regular season, that is some terrible timing. They come into today currently in 4th place in the West, 1.5 games back of 3rd place, that's the Lakers, but just a half game up on the Grizzlies, who sit in 8th place and squarely in the play-in tournament. And these recent struggles led Josh and Stan Kroenke to make the decision to part ways with both Malone and GM Calvin Booth.
We came to the decision that we were going to be changing these roles at the end of the season. And that, with that thinking in our mind that we know that we're going to be changing these roles at the end of the season, then your mind then turns to, well, what is the best decision for this group right now? And from that point forward, I think that, I became comfortable with the thinking of, let's try to shake this tree and squeeze as much out of this as we can. I think that there's more to that group than has been accomplished so far. How much more is in that group? I don't think that, I know the answer to that. I don't think anyone knows the answer to that. But I think I have a belief that there's more in that group that can be accomplished, and I look forward to seeing what they can do.
Malone leaves with 471 wins in the Mile High City. Just 3 games left in the regular season. That gets started tomorrow in Sacramento.
So you talk about them having come to this decision before now. I always think when you fire a coach, you have to have the answer already in hand, who you want to take over the team. Do you think they have that answer?
I don't necessarily know that, but I think that is what led to the timing of the firing today, because Malone has shown he can take them deep, even if it's a second-round appearance in the playoffs. Yeah. That's a whole lot of time that you can't hire a head coach. So I think they make the decision today so that way they can get whoever they want, whenever they want, regardless of what happens in the postseason.
All right, Chris, much more coming up when we see in sports. Thanks. Yeah. Of course, nobody expected this firing to happen right when it did today, especially many of the fans.
Yeah, Michael Malone's beloved in this city. 9 News reporter Ria Jha is live at Ball Arena. And you talked to some folks out there, Ria.
Yeah, as you said, fans did not expect this with just 3 games left until the playoffs. But after the recent losing streak, some fans said this was inevitable and maybe even overdue, because even though the timing of it is weird, after the recent losing streak, they have been kind of thinking about it. Malone led the Nuggets to their first NBA title in 2023, but the team has been underperforming since. And some people believe that leadership just wasn't getting the most out of this talented roster. Now with the playoffs around the corner, fans say the organization might be trying to spark something new or at least get a head start on the offseason coaching market.
It seems like they've gotten complacent since the championship, both players and coaches and GM. It's a little shocking to see it happen before the season's over, but if it's going to happen anyway, I think it makes a ton of sense.
While some fans are still processing this news, others are looking ahead to assistant coach David Adelman, who will be the interim coach in the meantime, hoping that he can make the most out of this playoff window. Reporting live in Denver, Ria Jha, 9 News.
All right, fans have to sort it out too. Thanks, Ria.
Let's take a live look outside today. A warm and breezy day around Denver, really nice. And we're staying this way for the rest of the week. The wind, though, that's part of the problem. We got high fire danger in other parts of the state, Kathy.
That's right, Kim. We are tracking a Pacific storm that's on the way in. That's where the high and mid-level clouds are coming from today. The wind hasn't really been an issue this afternoon, but will be tomorrow. Temperatures are going to stay warm, above average by at least 10 degrees. Again tomorrow afternoon. The average high is about 61. We're close to 80 in southern Colorado, 73 in Denver, 74 in Greeley. Will probably be as warm, but it's going to be the foothill wind that's going to create fire danger concerns, with red flag warnings going out for much of northeastern Colorado throughout the day tomorrow. That Pacific storm is transporting in the cloud cover, but not much in the way of rain or snow underneath those clouds. The temperature profile is very comfortable over the next few hours, and we'll look for them to drop into the 50s after our first 7:30 sunset tonight. We're going to be talking about elevated fire danger, but also highs in the 80s, record high temperatures possible. The extended forecast is just ahead.
The two men shot and killed near the Foothills Mall this weekend have been identified. Larimer County Coroner's Office identifying them today as 27-year-old Luis Araguin of Westminster and 37-year-old Ivan Grimaldo from Greeley. That shooting happened Saturday afternoon across the street from the mall. Investigators have since arrested an underage suspect in the incident. Because of his age, police are not sharing his name. They do believe the shooting may be gang-related.
9 News Investigates has obtained video showing the moment an Adams County deputy found one of the two men who escaped from an ICE facility.
Of course, that escape made headlines in March. It was because the power went out at the Aurora facility. That allowed the two men to escape through what had become an unlocked door. 9 News investigative reporter Jeremy Hohola got his hands on the video. He now updates us on the case.
Yeah, we asked for this body camera footage because an attorney for one of these escapees claimed in court the man actually called authorities to give himself up. This video contradicts that story when the escapee tried using a false name. March 21st. It's around 5:30 in the morning in Adams County, just north of Denver. This body camera footage shows a sheriff's deputy encountering a man with a bike.
Okay.
The deputy is stopping the man because he saw him riding his bike around a nearby closed car wash and found his behavior suspicious.
¿Tienes ID?
No lo tengo.
Okay. ¿Cómo te llamas?
The man gives up the name Alejandro Sombrano Reyes, which the deputy plugs into a computer.
I'm not getting a record.
Eventually, the deputy tells the man they're taking him to get fingerprinted to find his identity.
Nomás quiero saber quién eres.
¿Es en serio? Mis hijos dependen de mí, mis hijos me están esperando, están chiquitos.
They arrive at a facility, and the man maintains his name is Alejandro.
Soy Alejandro Zambrano Reyes.
Eventually, the man is placed in a cell. It's not caught on camera, but deputies later find out the man is not Alejandro Sombrano Reyes, but Joel Gonzalez Gonzalez, who escaped from the Geo ICE facility 3 days before this. ICE agents arrive at his cell and call him by his first name. From here, Gonzalez Gonzalez is taken back into ICE custody and eventually charged with escape. During his first court hearing, an attorney tried getting Gonzalez Gonzalez released by claiming he called authorities to give himself up. The judge denied release, saying in court records he's a flight risk while citing the fact he tried using a false name. And on April 1st, U.S. Marshals arrested the second escapee while he was riding a bus along Colfax Avenue. Guilon Vito Romero is also back in ICE custody and faces an escape charge as well. Live in the newsroom, Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
Tonight we're learning that more international students at the University of Colorado and Colorado State University have had their visas revoked. CU putting out a statement today saying that 12 international students on all 4 of its campuses have had student visas taken away. The university says federal agencies involved in these incidents are not sharing specific reasons for the revocations. Right now, we don't have a full list of the countries these students are from, but a spokesperson for CU told us it includes Kuwait, India, and the United Arab Emirates. CSU told us 10 students have had their visas revoked. That's 4 more than they had reported last week.
More Colorado students are using the state's anonymous reporting system. According to the state attorney general's office, students have submitted over 23,000 safe-to-tell reports this school year so far. That's a 15% jump from the same time last year. The majority of this month's reports focused on school safety, bullying, and mental health concerns. Together, the three categories made up more than 70% of all submissions. Students can access the system 24/7 through the Safe to Tell website, mobile app, or hotline.